Today we will continue practicing writing algebraic expressions, going from English to math. In today's lesson, we will look at writing algebraic expressions that use parentheses for grouping, as well as writing expressions for finding averages. So let's get started. Write an algebraic expression for each of the following. Twice the sum of x and 3. So twice is 2 times. So we're going to take something and we're going to multiply it by 2. Well, what is that something? Well, that's the sum of x and 3. So the sum of x and 3, that's addition. So we have x plus 3. So we're going to multiply x plus 3 by 2. And in order to show that we're multiplying x plus 3 by 2, we put that in a grouping. It's the quantity x plus 3 that's being multiplied by 2. So we end up with 2 times the quantity x plus 3. Next, we have 5 times the difference of y and 13. Again, so we're going to take something and we're going to multiply it by 5. What is that something? Well, it's the difference of y and 13. Difference is subtraction, so we have y minus 13. So we'll take 5 times the quantity y minus 13. Again, using these parentheses to show that it's not y, it's not 13, it's the difference of y and 13. So we're creating that parenthesis, that order of operations, indicating that this subtraction has to be done first before we multiply. Next, we have the quotient of 5 and the sum of x and y. Quotient implies division, and when we have it written in the form the quotient of some number and another number, the first number written is your numerator. That'll be the number on top. And then the second number written will be in the denominator. So in this case, our first number is 5. So the quotient of 5, and so we're going to put 5 in the numerator. It's on top of the fraction. Now on the bottom of the fraction, we have the sum of x and y. Well, sum of x and y, that's addition. So that's going to be x plus y. So it is this entire quantity, x plus y, that is in the denominator. We can put parentheses around this grouping. This is a grouping, x plus y. But these parentheses are not necessary. Next we have 1/3 of the difference of x and 1/4 of y. So we're going to take 1/3 and multiply it by something. So we have 1/3 of. So that means we're going to multiply something by 1/3. Well, what is that? Well, it's the difference of x and 1/4 of y. Difference, well, that's subtraction. So here we have subtraction. So we're going to take x and subtract 1/4 y. X and 1/4 of y. So for our final answer, we're going to have 1/3 times this difference, x minus 1/4 y. And we can also write this as 1/3 times x minus, and put that 4 in the denominator under the y. Now let's look at averages. So when we find the average of some numbers, we take the sum of all those numbers, we add them all up, divided by the count of numbers. So how many numbers do we have? So in this case, we are going to sum up all these numbers. So we're going to add them all up. So that's x plus y plus z. and we will divide it by the count. So we have 1, 2, 3 total numbers, so the count is 3. So an algebraic expression for the average of x, y, and z is the sum of x, y, and z, so x plus y plus z, all divided by 3. We could also write this as 1/3 x plus y plus z. Because if you divide by 3, that is the same as multiplying by 1/3. Next, the average of 50, A, B, and 22. So we will add them all up. We'll find their sum. So that's 50 plus A plus B plus 22. And we will divide this by the count of numbers, how many numbers we have. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 numbers. Now in this case, we can go ahead and simplify our numerator because we can add 50 and 22. 50 plus 22 is 72, plus A plus B all over 4. Tom has a farm shaped like a rectangle. Its width is x yards. So the width is x, and the length is 8 yards longer than 2/3 of the width. So we have longer than, which is like greater than, bigger than. So we're going to add 8 to something. And what are we adding it to? We're adding it to 2/3 of the width. So we have 2/3, 2 over 3, and the width is x. So we have 2/3 x plus 8. Write an algebraic expression for the perimeter. Well, the perimeter is the sum of all the sides. So we have 2 lengths. So this one here is 2/3 x plus 8. And we have 2 widths. This one is also x. We will add all of these up. So we have 2/3 x plus 8. That's this one right here. And then we'll add this x. So plus x. And then we'll add this length plus 2/3 x plus 8. And then we'll add this width plus x. So we have 2/3 x plus 2/3 x. Go ahead and group things together. So I've added those two. Then we have plus x. That takes care of those two. And then 8 plus 8, I'll go ahead and add those. That's plus 16. 2/3 x plus 2/3 x. We have a common denominator of 3, so we can add this. So that's 4/3 x plus 2x plus 16. Now we're going to add the 4/3 x plus 2x. We'll need to get a common denominator. Denominator here needs to be 3. So we have 4/3 x plus 6/3 x. So 2x with a common denominator of 3 would be 6 over 3x plus 16. And then we combine like terms again. 4/3 x plus 6/3 x is 10/3 x plus 16. And this was in yards. A great way to learn is to practice on your own. We will discuss in a bit, but go ahead and pause your screen and do these 3 problems. In the first problem, we have thrice the sum of 6 and y. Thrice is 3 times something. So we have 3 times the sum of 6 and y. Sum is addition. So that's 6 plus y. That leaves us with 3 times the quantity, 6 plus y. This is how it's written, thrice the sum of 6 and y. But it's common to put the variable first. So you could also write this as 3 times the quantity y plus 6. Next, the quotient of 5 and the difference of x and y. Quotient is division. And when we have the quotient of one number and another number, this first number, that's going to be your numerator. So we have a 5 in the numerator. The second number, which in this case is the difference of x and y, that's going to be in the denominator. So we have the difference x minus y in the denominator. Finally, the average of 13, 22, and x. When we find averages, the first step is to add up all the numbers. So 13 plus 22 plus x, and that'll be our numerator. And then we divide it by the count. In this case, we have 3 numbers that we're adding up. For this example, we can simplify the numerator. We can add 13 plus 22. That gives us the quantity 35 plus x divided by 3. Continue practicing writing algebraic expressions, and I'll see you in the next video.